Hi guys, welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how I learn new things. So the first question is, what should I learn? And in order to find new topics of things that I want to learn, I might start off by generally researching ideas for new topics. So I might search for something like, what are the most important things to learn in life? Or what are the most important areas of self-improvement? Sometimes I learn new things because I need to overcome a certain challenge that I have in my life. These may be practical things, like if something in my car has gone wrong, I might need to learn a new skill on how to fix that. But generally, whatever I'm learning, whether it's new knowledge or a skill, what I'm trying to do is improve my life in some way. So learn something new and actionable that I can implement in my life to see some sort of positive improvement. So there's 3 steps that I want to cover when it comes to learning new things. The first step is getting the resources. So what I might do is initially read an article that gives an overview of the topic. So someone's already done the hard work and learned something new, and they've explained it in their article. I might also watch a quick video if it's something more practical that I need to learn. So YouTube is a really good resource where you can find lots of videos that actually show you how to do things. And what you'll find is someone has spent a lot of time learning themselves, or they have a particular skill that they can easily show you with a video. So those 2 things in themselves might actually be enough depending on what you want to learn. If I want to learn something in more detail, what I'll do is try to find the best book on that topic. So a book is someone has gone through a lot of effort and read a variety of resources in order to compile it into something more comprehensive. So a book is probably the best thing you can do to really get into depth on a topic. So I'll find the best book. You could just go to Amazon, search for a topic and see which books get the highest reviews, or you can Google it as well. I'll tend to start off getting an ebook version because I have so many books that I use. It's just not practical for me to have a physical hard copy of each of them. Instead of going through the book page by page and line for line, what I'll do then is search for a summary of the book itself. And I will use that summary as an anchor to guide myself through the book itself. So once you've read the summary, you'll see the key points that someone else has summarized, and particular key points might be of interest to you. So you can use that to search the ebook and find the exact place within that book that talks about that point specifically. Now, when you read around that point, you'll find the book goes into a lot more context and detail that will be relevant for yourself. While reading the ebook, I usually take notes. So I'll do this in OneNote, but you can use any other note application. So this helps me to really focus and to take a concise summary myself, personal to me, on what I find interesting once I'm getting into the ebook in more detail. The main thing I'm focused on when I'm learning something new or when I'm reading this ebook is to try to draw out the actionable insights that I can take from it. So I'm usually aiming to have 2 or 3 key points that I think would really improve my life if I were to implement them. I then try to build those into a habit tracker or something else that you can use, whatever you may use to build habits. So habits do take a long time to form, but if you use something like a habit tracker, you can make sure that you're tracking whether or not you're doing them on a daily or weekly basis. So step 2 is moving the information that you've learned into long-term memory. In order to do this, you need to give yourself a period of time to forget some of the information that you've learned. Now, once that, you may give it a few days or a week, and then you need to revisit that topic that you learned. Now, before you look over your notes, this is the most important thing. You need to do something called active recall. So that's thinking about the key points of the information that you learned and trying to really squeeze your brain to remember what those key points were without looking at your notes. Now, this is going to be really difficult, and it's tempting to go straight back to your notes and just keep looking at your notes, highlighting your notes and revisiting them. But you really need to take time, 5 or 10 minutes, and really squeeze your brain to think of all the things that you can remember. Now, once you've done this, you can then look back at your notes and see where were the key points or key areas that you missed in your active recall. Now, this process is difficult, but what it's doing is moving that information into your long-term memory. So you are able to recall it at a later date much easier once you've done this. Once I've gone through this process, what I might do just to consolidate my understanding a little bit better and use another type of style of learning, I might look for a video that's a bit more depth on the topic. So if it was an ebook that I read, I might look on YouTube for a summary of the book by the author themselves. And you usually find that authors do make videos that summarize their own books. So I find this really useful to hear from the author themselves. And it's just another way of taking in the information that might fill certain gaps in understanding that you may have. Step 3 is mastering the content. So in order to master the content, you need to solidify your understanding of it. So in order to do this, what you need to do is be able to explain it to someone. So this is the most tricky and difficult thing, but you'll find that it helps your understanding the most. So you've learned something new, you think you understand it, but when you go to explain it to someone, you realize actually you haven't understood it. And this is where it catches you. So once you're able to explain it to someone, you know you've truly understood what you've learned. Another way is to engage in discussions with people. So maybe your colleagues at work or some pupils that you study with, or you can go on Twitter, which is a really good place to engage in debates and discussions. So once you engage in these discussions, you'll find that you're having to articulate your understanding of certain things, and that's helping you to understand things in more detail. Lastly, there's something called interleaving, which is when you learn different things from different topics, all within the same kind of broad field. So if you're learning something new in maths, for example, or in psychology, when you've learned new things in different topics, you might find it actually, when you revisit previous topics, that new thing that you've learned helps your understanding as a whole. So there's different pieces of information that are contained within different topics that help across the different areas. So you should revisit your notes periodically, and based on the new things that you've learned, you can ask yourself, are there any new perspectives that you have on this information? Or are there any new questions that you find interesting that give you a new take on the information that you learned the first time that you didn't pick up? So I think with these 3 steps, you should really be able to take any new topic and learn something new. I think what benefits me the most is being quite highly numerate and being able to read well in English. So as long as you can read well in your given language and you've got a decent level of numeracy, you should be able to take any book across most topics and just learn new things yourself. This opens up such a large number of opportunities for you to be able to learn various things, like new skills, new knowledge that can really improve your life. You could learn how to code, you can learn how to do high-level maths, you can learn various STEM subjects, you can read for fun, you can look at what are the most highest paid skills and learn some of those and really improve your earnings potential in the future. There's also a lot of platforms that have courses that can teach you how to do things and new knowledge and skills. So you should check those out. Some of the ones that I've used in the past are things like Udemy, but I know Skillshare is quite a popular platform. But to be honest, I tend to just find a topic myself, and between books and YouTube, I can typically learn anything that I want to. So I hope you found this video really useful. Good luck on learning new things, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.